Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So if you're a graphic designer and you've been hearing about Figma, but you don't know what Figma is, how to use it, or why you should even bother about Figma in the first place, then this video is for you. So let's get started. So Figma is a cloud-based design software, just like Photoshop or Illustrator, but Figma was built mainly for UI/UX designers and for collaborative work. Think of Figma as a design playground where multiple designers can be working on one design file at the same time. But here's the thing, it's not just great for UI/UX designers, it's also great for graphic designers, which is why today's video is Figma for graphic designer. Now, why would you need Figma as a graphic designer? First, like I already mentioned, real-time collaboration. If you work with some companies full-time as a graphic designer, you work closely with other people, marketing, UI/UX design, even product development and all of that. Most times you'll notice that everybody has to be on the same Figma file because of quick feedback and responses. So you don't need to be sending files back and forth, check this, get back to me and all of that. Everybody is on the same file, seeing everything. So it's a really great tool for that. Another one is the flexibility. Figma is a vector-based software, kind of like Illustrator. So if you create a file in like Illustrator and save it as a vector, you can actually bring that file into Figma and edit it on Figma as well. Also, it's a cross-platform tool. You don't need to bother if you're on Windows or your Mac or whatever. It works with your browser or a desktop app. So all you just need to do is to log into your Figma account on whatever system you are, as long as there's a browser, and you access all your Figma files and you can continue your work wherever you are. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the process of creating an account, setting up your Figma space, knowing all the tools there and what they are used for, and creating a very basic design or something very simple on Figma. So let's get started with the video. Alright guys, so to get started with Figma, the first thing you do is just to go to the website, which is figma.com. Here you see the welcome screen telling you all about our products, solutions, community, resources, and pricing, all of that. So all you just have to do is click get started for free. You can sign up with your email or just use your Google account. So for me, I'll be using my Google account. When it loads, this is like your Figma home screen. You see, they will basically just ask you just to put your username and just a basic setup. How do you plan to use Figma? So basically just use the starter pack. So it creates a blank document or file for you. But before we do this, let's go back to our Figma home. So now you see, you can create a Figma design file, you can create a FigJam file, you can create slides. This one is like for creating presentation. FigJam is more of like creating like user flow, feature flows, or like taking notes. Basically it's like an empty noteboard or a whiteboard that you can make use of. So you can like get some shapes, draw some stuff, just write hello Figma roadmap, then probably like tweak the size. Okay, huge is too much, let's use large. Then you can literally just like connect it to other. So this is good for like planning. If you want to like plan your notes or plan steps that you want to use and achieve something, this is very good for it. Just change your color, just basically helps you with your planning. You can add other shapes here, you can see them. You can change your lines if you want a different kind of like connector. You can just do that, just arrange basically. So yeah, FigJam is good for that, but we are not concerned about FigJam actually. We want to use the design file. So I'll just click on design, and I have this as my blank Figma document. So now to walk you through the environment of Figma. Now this is your layers panel. This is your, on the right side, your properties panel. You have your toolbar down here. Then this is like your blank canvas for you to do anything. So now on the layers panel, you have first your file name. So let's say first Figma file.
you have the location. So currently it's in our drafts. So if you have other Figma, if you create other like folders or like subsections aside from your drafts, you can assign or put files inside there, but for now it's in our drafts. Here you can switch between your file and your assets. Assets are like maybe when you create components that you want to reuse, that's where you will put that about assets, but for now don't worry about that, just files. So pages are like tabs, just like how browsers have tabs. If you switch to this tab, there's something there, switch here, another thing. That is how you have pages on Figma. So you can create these pages like this because it's a draft file, so you can create a lot of pages like that. So I'll just delete. Then of course you have your layers. Currently we don't have anything, so you cannot see any layer showing here. So now for the toolbar, we have our move tool, we have our hand tool, and we have our scale tool. I will explain the difference between scale and move eventually. We have your frame tool, shape tool, pen tool, text tool, comments, and actions. Now for this frame tool here, if you click on it, you look over here, you have different frames. On Photoshop or Illustrator, you have them as like artboards or saved templates, basically saved files. Now remember I said it's more for like UI/UX designer, so you can see a phone screen sizes, you can see tablet screen sizes, you can see desktop screen sizes, presentation sizes, and all of that. So if I should click like 16 Pro, you see this is the screen size of iPhone 16 Pro. So you can zoom in and out with your Control plus, Control minus, just like in Photoshop, or use your mouse wheel with the Control key. So it's almost the same thing as Photoshop and Illustrator basically. So if you go to the frames, you can see all the different phone screen sizes. They are here: tablet, desktop. This is your regular browser size or desktop screen size. You can create the one for MacBooks as well and all of that. So all those templates are actually saved here for you on Figma. So you can see social media. So this is a Twitter post, Twitter header size, Facebook cover, Instagram post, Instagram story. So these are like the default social media sizes. So you don't really need to cram anything. All it's here on Figma for you to make use of. So if I should click like Instagram post, see, this is 1080 by 1080, the standard size for an Instagram post. So you also have what we call section. Section is just basically for like grouping all your different frames together. So we don't need to bother about slides. The next is the move tool. Nobody's new to move tool here, I believe. Like I said, this is for existing graphic designers, so you know the rectangle tool, you draw it. Your ellipse tool, you draw. Of course, you know if you want to draw a perfect shape, you hold down your shift key, you get a perfect shape. We have polygons, star, and you can also bring in images. You can draw lines and arrows. Everything is just here. So yeah, just the basics. Then of course the pen tool, we all know, or most of us should know how to use the pen tool already. It's just basically for drawing custom shapes, just like I said, just like in Figma, just like in Photoshop and Illustrator. Use your pen tool to draw like custom shapes. So yeah, nobody should be new to that, I'm guessing. Then of course the text tool, hello there. It's quite tiny, so you can't really see, but if I zoom in, you can see here, hello there. Then okay, the comments is just for like leaving comment. Remember I said it's a collaborative tool. So if for example you worked on a design and you left it here, somebody can actually come here. That is why this share button is here. When you click, you can see all the people on the file. So currently it's just me. I can invite someone else via their email, they'll come here, or I just send them the link and they're on this file, and all of us can be on the same file at the same time. So if for example I worked on something and someone wants me to like change the color, they can just come here and click and like at Olu, for example, if that's my username on Figma, yeah, at Olu, change this color. And when I see that, I'll come and check. It will notify me by email that, oh, somebody left a comment for me, and I come. Once I do that, I can just click OK, I've resolved the comment. So yeah, that's what comments are for. So now when it comes to all these texts and shapes and all these other layers we've created, now if you notice, sorry, there's a typo there. If you notice, if you come to my layers now, you can see the frame is here. First of all, the Instagram post frame, you can see it on the layers. You can see the hello there text, the first ellipse, ellipse 2, ellipse 1, and the rectangle. Everything is on the layers. You can hide them and bring them back, just like we've been doing in Photoshop, Illustrator, CorelDRAW, whatever tool you work with. Basically same thing. So that's for the layers. We all know how layers work. Now when it comes to this side, the properties panel, again, I believe nobody here, or not that many people here, are that new to Figma, or sorry, that new to design. So like for this one, start from the top, alignment, left align to the frame, center align, right, top, center, bottom. You get X and Y positions of this. If I put it like on 0 on the X axis, it's all the way here. 0 on the X axis, 0 on the Y axis is up here. If I put it like 1080, see, down here. So the X and Y, just the positioning basically. Rotation, if I change it to like 90 degrees, see it flips on the other side. Then this is like flip horizontal. You won't notice because it's like a warped shape. But if I was to rotate it a bit here, maybe something like this, flip horizontal, you can see how it's flipping. Then flip vertical as well. So the dimensions, basically the width and the height. If I want to customize, let's take this back to 0. For us to customize the width and the height from here, I can set the width to be like 700, set the height to like 1000. See that? And I can also just adjust it with my move tool, obviously letter V. That's the shortcut to the move tool. So this button here just like lock proportions, so that in case you want to change the size, the width and the height does not change, it's locked to proportion. Which also brings me now to this second tool here called the scale tool. Now this text, for example, if I should use the move tool to change the size, let me zoom in more so you can see. If I should use the move tool to change the size, I won't change the size of the text. I'll just be changing or increasing the size of the boundary of the text. That is what the move tool does. Because the move tool is not ideally used for resizing. So if I use the move tool, it's just going to change the size of the boundary. However, if I should switch it to the scale tool, which is letter K, and I use that scale tool, you can see, because scaling is different from moving something around. If you're scaling, it means you're increasing the proportions. You get, unlike on Photoshop or this thing, I can just use the move tool to do anything. So if I switch back to the move tool, which is letter V, you can see it increases the boundary. But once I go to the scale tool, letter K, you can see here. So the scale tool, that's what it does. It increases the sizes of any layer. So that is why we use scale over the move tool here on Figma. So back to the properties. Sorry. So we have our dimensions, we have our appearance, opacity, of course, you know, the level of your visibility. This is a poor color, so you won't really notice now. But this is our fill, where we can change the color. So if we click here, you can see this is our color palette. You can put in any color code over here. So I can decide to use 1B, 2B, 53. This is my brand's primary color. So if I should play around with this opacity now, you see that this is 20%, this is 50%, this is 90%. Then of course the corner radius, I can set it on 50, I can set it on 20. You get, basically, and I can edit the individual corner. So if I want only one corner to bend more than the others, I can easily just do that here. You get, I already mentioned the fill transparency as well. You can do that here. We can also add a stroke, which is an outline. You can add a stroke, you can remove the stroke. You can add the stroke and you can remove your fill, so it will just be only stroke. Increase the stroke size, increase the stroke positioning, inside, outside, center. The type of stroke, solid, dashed. This is when you have like a line. If you want a butt cap or round cap and all of that. The joints as well, mitre angle, everything, just the basic stroke settings that we play with on other design tools. Same here. Then as for effects, you can add drop shadows, you can add layer blurs, background blur, noise, texture, basically same design effects that we'll be using on other tools. So yeah, Figma does all that for us as well. So that is basically the overall setup for Figma. Can modify this if we want, but yeah, layers panel, tools, properties. Prototype is for more for UI UX designers, so we don't really need to bother about that as graphic designers. Then you can change the color of your background as well, your Figma file here. In case you want to change that color, you can do that. Or I prefer the black. I think that's basically all. So I'll just use this to create like a very simple let me say a brand presentation. Then I will explain. Okay, so next I'm going to bring in a vector file and show you how we can edit our vector files here on Figma. Then from there I'll show you how to create, or I'll just create a very simple brand presentation so that we can see and get done for today. Alright guys, so now I have Illustrator here and I'm just going to create a very simple vector file here. I can export this file alone. Collect for export as single assets. Call this test logo as SVG file, because SVG is a vector file. Then I will export it. Okay, so now let's look for our file. So this is our vector file. So I'll drag this now into Figma here. So you can see it came in test logo here. So now if you look on the layers, you see that it has been grouped. Can you see the frame test logo came with this, but you can see what is here. There's a text here and there's a vector shape here. So that is why I told you it's also a vector file, so you can edit this even inside Figma after creating on Illustrator. Let's ungroup this here, ungroup again, so you can still edit the text on Figma here, and you can change the color. Look at the font. I recognize that the font is Ionic, it's bold. Change it to regular, medium, whichever. Spacing, any modification you want to make. Basically colors, change my color to white. See? So yeah, Figma is a really helpful tool. So that's why I said it's very useful for graphic designers in the long run, because you make use of it as well. So cross-platform collaboration, cross-platform use, Figma is just a really great tool. So I'm going to be using this logo to just create some very simple presentation, or yeah, let's just say sample brand guideline. So I'll go to frame, come to presentation. I'll just use 16:9 for example. So this is the 16:9 file size. So I'm just going to use it for like a brand presentation. So I'll bring this logo here, use my scale to K to like adjust. Okay, so let's give this a brown color, or let me separate it into separate files. On group, let's have the icon separate. We'll have a full logo, horizontal logo. We'll have a stacked version. here, or something like this, align here. So Ctrl G this, Ctrl G here, and yeah. So I won't probably need this anymore. So let's give this a brown color. Okay, let's use maybe something the line of purple. Yeah. Let's make it a bit lighter. Yeah, something like this. Let's just have this as the brown color. So I could just duplicate these slides, hold Alt key, click and drag, or Ctrl D, Ctrl D, Ctrl D to duplicate slide 1, 2, 3. I can select all of it. Now in Figma there's what they call auto layout, which UX designers will be very familiar with. The shortcut for auto layout is Shift A. Auto layout is just a way of like grouping everything together and automatically aligning everything. So once you have auto layout, you can just basically play around with all your slides and groupings. So I can adjust the spacing between each of them, space them out. And auto layout is so great because your work can be scattered all over the place. Like I just mix them up anyhow and use auto layout Shift A, and it just arranges everything for you quite perfectly well. So yeah, auto layout is a really great feature that Figma has as well. So sorry, let's ungroup this. Alright, so if I was to create just a simple brand presentation, let's make this cover black in color. So I'll just type here test logo, brand guidelines. So just like I mentioned earlier, I mostly use Figma for my brand guidelines creation. It's my go-to tool. It just makes it easier for edits, feedback, and all of that, so I don't have to go and be opening my source file. Hey, another thing I didn't mention, Figma works online, so you have to be connected to the internet like all the time while you're working on Figma, else your work will not save. You have to be connected so that your work will be saved. If you don't connect to the net, you can design quite alright, but your work will not be saved. So always make sure that if you have work to be saved, make sure that you are connected to the internet at all times. Or you can do your work, then just come back and like save much later. So on my layers, I'm going to put this under, then I'll just reduce the opacity somewhere around 3%, 5%, just something very subtle in the background. Test logo, brand guidelines. I can decide to use the brand color here now. Yeah, something like that. Then here I can make this one the brand color. Then copy this, Ctrl V. Oh sorry, wrong slide here. There. Make this white. We have as our brand presentation we've created. So like I said, I mentioned auto layout earlier. You can select everything here, all the frames, and just Shift A to auto layout it, and you see the frame now is now frame 1. So I can double click it and change it to guidelines. See that? Guidelines. So I can create another page, or let me call this presentation. This page here, presentation. I can create another page and call it assets. Okay, case I just want to like separate my files. So I can take all these logo files now, Control X, take it to assets and paste it in assets so that it doesn't disturb me here in my presentation. You can see that. Then now there are various ways of exporting in Figma. I can select only this slide or any element on it. So if I double click till I get a particular element, I can just select only that one, come here to export, click the plus sign. Then this is where you can export as PNG, as JPEG, as SVG, which is a vector, or as PDF. And the size 1x, which is the original size, 2x is times 2 of the size, and all of that. Yeah, so if I just click export this, see it has finished and I can access it on my PC here. See that? So but I want to export this as a PDF because it's a brand guideline. Now if you export this whole guidelines, like the whole frame that has been selected, if I export it as PDF from here, it's going to come as one page. Instead of a PDF to have 1, 2, 3, 4 pages, it's going to have just one page. It's going to look like one long page. Yeah, so the best way to export a PDF file like this, you just come to File, here, come to your Figma icon, come to File, Export Frames to PDF. Now it's very important you don't have any extra elements around. That is why I moved those logos to the assets. If not, they are going to show. So frames to PDF. Sorry, ungroup it before you do that. Okay, you just group it to arrange. So yeah, come here, File, frames to PDF, and yeah, quality. Let's use high. Export first Figma file.pdf. So if I should open this, you can see page 1, page 2, page 3, and page 4. So there you have it. That is just the tip of the iceberg of what you can actually do with Figma. There's so much more you can do with Figma. You can create mild animations, you can create your own vectors, you can even create files like social media designs. You can design everything here on Figma if you want that, or you can do your designs outside of Figma like on Illustrator, Photoshop, and just bring in the images. Like you can literally just go to your desktop and find a random picture and just drag it to your Figma and you have it here. So you can create all your designs and bring them on here so that the rest of the team can see it. So that's all. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. So if you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button and like this video. It's going to encourage me to be creating more tutorials like this. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much for your loyalty, even if I've been very inconsistent. So like this video and share to somebody, and comment if you found this video helpful. If you drop that comment, it's going to help me a lot. So until next time and my next tutorial, stay cool, stay blessed. God bless you all.